Hey guys, how we doing and how we feeling today? Okay, so on this episode, we're gonna talk about and review Madison Beer's second studio album titled Silence Between Songs. Now, in case you don't know Madison Beer is best known for hits like Selfish and Reckless. Now, prior to the album release, we had 5 singles: Reckless, Dangerous, Showed Me How I Fell in Love with You, Home to Another One, and Spinning. Now, onto the album itself. So, the album is under 45 minutes long, so it's kind of your standard listening session length. Now, starting with the first track, Spinning. This is the fifth single, a strong opening track for the album. Madison's vocals are really impressive here, and this song is about feeling like everything around you is static and gloomy, which makes each passing day feel the same and thus seem like part of a time loop. This strange time, in turn, gives you the chance to sit alone with your thoughts and reflect on how you're feeling at the moment and where you're at in life. Now, this song I find highly relatable because, we can all go through this, like we feel like things just stopped moving and, you're feeling down and you don't know why. So it's kind of, you feel like stuck. So it's a time for like reflection, sitting with your own thoughts and such. Now, moving on to track number 2, Sweet Relief, the first of my highlights on the album. This is the first standout moment in the album, and this song is about having a crush on someone and thus being smitten over them. You find yourself unable to concentrate on doing anything else because all you seem to be able to do is think about this person. And this song is also pretty relatable because, we all go through this. We like someone and you just can't manage to think about anything else other than this person. This person is driving you crazy. So yeah, you can't focus on anything else because this person has taken over your thoughts in a good way. Now, moving on to track number 3, Envy the Leaves, another one of my highlights. Madison layers this song with different sets of vocals, and the result is extraordinary. In this song, Madison describes the way she envies pieces of nature. In this case, the leaves and snow specifically. She sees these parts of nature as things that don't have anything to live for, and thus they have no worries to deal with. This stems from Madison being tired of pretending like everything in her life is fine as is, as well as wishing to not have to deal with worrying about what life throws her way. She also wishes to be delusional so she could trick herself into thinking that she is happy, when in reality she doesn't really feel this way. And this song is also pretty relatable to everyone because we all wish we didn't have to worry about anything, that we could just exist. Pretty much like Madison says in the song, like nature just is just there. It doesn't have anything to live by. So yeah. Now, track number 4, 17. The instrumentation here makes for a chill sounding track. And in this song, Madison looks back at her life when she was 17 and feels as if that year went by too quickly. She wishes she could have lived more in the moment and allow herself to enjoy the little things, instead of going through that age filled to the brim with stress. Madison has revealed that she was dropped by her record label at the time, which was Island Records, when she was 16. So by the time she turned 17, it felt like the end of the world for her, as if she had failed everyone as if she had failed and everyone had given up on her. She considers 17 to 21 as some of the hardest years of her life. And at least for me personally, I find this song pretty relatable because, 17 wasn't the easiest year for me. I look back on that year and there are things I wish would have been better. Um, you know, so I relate to Madison in this sense. However, I don't consider that those next 4 years up until 21 were also as hard. So I don't relate fully to the song. But yeah, 17, you're still a teenager. You still have things to enjoy about that, time of your life. So it sucks when you look back on it and it's not as fond as you would like. Now, moving on to track number 5, Rider, another one of my highlights. The previous track transitions seamlessly into this one. The instrumentation and Madison's vocals bounce off each other beautifully. In this song, Madison talks about her relationship with her younger brother, Ryder. She reflects on growing up with him, understanding why he is the way he is, and feeling protective of him. While promoting her memoir, The Half of It, Madison stated that she tried to protect Ryder when their parents were going through a divorce. She also shared that she hoped to become a role model for her brother. Moving on to track number 6, Nothing Matters But You, another one of my highlights. Madison's vocals sound pretty smooth here. And this is a song about feeling so deeply in love with the person you're dating, so much so that you can't even imagine how you managed before meeting them. You feel so safe and protected with this person that nothing else matters. And this song can also be pretty relatable because we can fall so deeply in love with someone that they feel like home to you, that you feel safe with them, and you can't even fathom to think about how you went about life before meeting them. Now, track number 7, I Wonder. The production reflects the theme of the song pretty clearly, and this song is about feeling at ease and happy, yet you're unsure as to why everything around you seems to be flowing naturally. You also feel more independent, no longer feeling the need to have someone in order to feel content, but rather being just fine on your own. This song can be viewed as a counterpart to the opening track, Spinning. And yeah, the opening track, Spinning, was, all about feeling stuck, like you're in a time loop and everything like is static and you're like down, everything's gloomy. And in this song, it's backwards. You're happy, like everything is just going as it should, but you don't know why. Like it's kind of too good to be true. Now, track number 8, At Your Worst, another one of my highlights. Madison makes another excellent use of vocal layering in this track. This is a song about someone who is quite self-destructive, to the point of even hurting the ones that love them at their worst. But the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as you come to realize that you're no different than this person, yet you don't feel proud about it. And yeah, it can happen that you criticize someone for being some type of way, but then you come to realize that you're just like them, like you're criticizing something that you're also like as if that person is a reflection of you, but you don't want to admit it at first, but then you set aside your your pride, and you accept it. You come to terms with it. Now, track number 9, Showed Me How I Fell in Love with You. The third single. In this song, Madison talks about observing the behavior of a very enchanting man who she fell in love with, as she wants to be just like him and be desired by everyone who lays eyes on her. She looks to mimic his way of seducing people just like it worked on her. Now, track number 10, Home to Another One, the fourth single, and another one of my highlights. This is an undoubtable high point in the album. This is a pretty upbeat, radio-friendly song, so it makes sense why Madison made this into a single. This is a song about still thinking of a failed relationship and wondering what could have been had you and that person seen it through. They have moved on to someone new already, yet you wonder if they still think about you like you still think about them. And another relatable song, because we can all go through this. I mean, when there is a relationship of ours that didn't pan out like we hoped it would, you start to wonder what if it had worked out, what if you both had seen it through, but alas, that's not how things turned out. And you know that this person already moved on, but you haven't, so you wonder if they still think about you or if you're nowhere near their thoughts. So yeah. Now moving on to track number 11, Dangerous. Another one of my highlights. This is the second single. This is a pretty sad yet beautiful ballad. The song builds toward an orchestral climax, and this song is about a relationship that has run its course. You hold on dearly to the memories you made with this person and wonder if they still think about you or if you're the only one stuck in the past. You thought for sure that this person was the right one for you, so much so that you pictured a whole life ahead with them. You feel that you did something to upset the other person and thus led them to want to call it quits on the relationship. So this song is a similar story to the previous song, because it talks about, a relationship of yours that already ran its course, and you still think about the fun times with this person, and you feel stuck in the past because you're wondering if they still think about you or not at all. And you thought that this person was the one because you saw that person in your future, but it turns out that person didn't see you in their future. And you feel like maybe you're the one that fucked up and led that person to want to dump you. But in the end, it seems like you're not gonna know what went wrong if this person doesn't want anything to do with you anymore. Now, track number 12, Reckless, the last of my highlights on the album. This is a lead single. Madison really sells the emotional lyrics of the song with her vocal delivery. And in this song, Madison talks about a guy who was completely careless with her and her feelings. This guy swore that there was no other girl to worry about, which turned out to be a devastating lie. Madison naturally feels utterly betrayed by this guy, as this guy also promised that he wouldn't hurt her, and he ended up doing just that. Madison's friends had even warned her about this guy, but she didn't listen to them and got her heart broken in the process. And this song is also pretty relatable because, there are people who we end up dating that turn out to be pretty destructive. Like they make a mess of things wherever they go, and they mess people up. and they don't care about, hurting someone else's feelings. And you had people in your around you, friends, family, that were warning you of this person, told you not to get involved with them. But alas, you didn't listen to any of them, and you dated this person, and you got your heart broken in the process. Now, moving on to track number 13, Silence Between Songs, the title track. This song is about trying to cope with getting left behind by a lover and the subsequent heartache that comes with that. You haven't experienced this much loneliness before, and you find yourself trying to avoid getting wrapped up in your own thoughts because of how dark they are. And this is another relatable song because, you know, when you get dumped by someone, obviously you feel heartbroken, but also with that comes loneliness, and with loneliness comes dark thoughts. So you find yourself trying to avoid getting wrapped up in your own head, because that can lead to even worse things, obviously. So you're just trying to, navigate that whole thing. And now, lastly, track number 14, King of Everything. Madison slows things down with one last ballad. The instrumentation becomes grander as the song progresses. This is a strong closing track for the album, and in this song, Madison talks about a guy who is so cocky and arrogant to the point of thinking he's on top of the world, when in reality, the people around him think he's just full of shit. And I mean, there are a lot of people like this, sadly, that they're so full of it, but turns out that they're not. They're just talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk, And the guy in question here is speculated to be Scooter Braun, who used to be Madison's manager. And in case you didn't know, Scooter Braun was also the manager of huge artists like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, and I believe also Carly Rae Jepsen. And I say used to be because, it's supposed to be true that, as of recently, Scooter Braun is no longer the manager of any of these artists. But what is a fact is that that Madison parted ways with him years prior. She has gone on record to reveal her time under his management, where she said that she didn't have a voice and he was very controlling. Like, he would tell her, like, no, you don't know anything, you're just a little girl. So this naturally led her to part ways with him. Now, my final overall thoughts on the album are that Madison delivered a solid sophomore album from start to finish. This album is highly consistent, and this album is a worthy follow-up to Madison's debut album, Life Support. Now, when comparing this album to the rest of Madison's short discography, do I consider this to be her best body of work to date? No. I would say Life Support remains as Madison's best album to date. So, going briefly through her discography, we have her debut EP, As She Pleases, which is a solid debut body of work, and she got on the right footing with this EP. And then we had her debut album, Life Support, which was an outstanding debut album. And also, I think that Life Support is a better album than this album, Silence Between Songs, because Life Support has a beginning, a middle, which is represented by an interlude, and an end. So with that said, it has a better structure to it. It feels more cohesive, and it feels like it tells a complete story from beginning to end. And also, there are better songs on it. Well, with better, I mean like more heavy hitters. So it feels like a higher quality album. Now, what score do I give Silence Between Songs? I give it 4 out of 5 stars. So, yeah, guys, that was my review for Silence Between Songs by Madison Beer. Before I go, make sure to follow Pop and Bop on social media. It's at Pop and Bop on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Threads, and Pop and Bop on Facebook and YouTube. So, yeah, this has been Pop and Bop. I'm Emilio Fernandez, and thank you so much for listening. Catch you next time.